We need like a
I was gonna ask. I'm like, can I play some background? No.
well, I meant like an intro,
Oh,
like
okay,
the Oakland Girl
okay.
intro or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, you
Maybe
gotta
we
get your theme
Tamar,
song going.
yeah, Tamar. Maybe we could do something when I come out there. We could just
Mhm.
since we'll be in the same state, we could do something together. Okay, so good eat or hello everybody. Hello everybody. Whatever time you're listening, you are tuned in into the Oakland Girl Life podcast. My name is Shanita Perdomo and I am the host.
And I am Avia Thomas, and I am your co-host.
And we are so privileged to be in or talking to. It's not an interview. We are talking to our gorgeous guest today. Her name
Aw.
is Raychell Simmons. Hey Rachel.
Hey y'all.
And we're gonna get a whole bunch of nuggets. So I hope y'all got y'all bucket ready. I hope y'all like chicken, golden chicken nuggets because we're gonna get a lot of nuggets during this podcast. And Rachel, the title, you don't know this, but the
Okay.
title of your show is called From the Murder Dubs to
Ah,
Motherhood. And hood in all caps.
I love that.
Motherhood. And so
Oh.
so yeah, I'm just really excited to for everyone. I know a lot about your story and stuff, but for
Mhm.
everyone to hear from you. But before we start talking, I always like to play a little icebreaker.
Okay.
Okay. Can y'all see this? Is it
Mm-hmm.
big and clear? Okay, so because of copyright infringement, we're not gonna play songs or music or theme songs or anything like that until we get our own music. So
Mhm.
y'all just gonna have to like have a game show theme song going on in your head. But Rachel grew up in the 90s. And so not everyone here represented is from the 90s.
Right.
However, however, we'll find out. Okay. So this game is called Celebrities from Oakland, California.
Wow.
All right. Are you ready? Are you
Yes.
ready? Mm. Dun, 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 dun.
Are we naming the
What's
whole
his
entire
name?
family or just one person?
Just
Oh,
this one person.
Oh, I'm trying to see. Is this hanging on Mr. Cooper? No.
Yes. What's his name, though? Do you know his
Mark
name?
Curry.
Yes, Mark
oh, Mark.
Curry.
Yeah, I said
Mark
Mark Cooper.
Curry. Okay. Yep. Mark Curry hanging on Mr. Cooper. All right. Trey, I told you. Okay, see, this is what we talking about.
I don't know who.
Okay, she is from Oakland, California, which I found out. Do y'all
Sorry
know
to
her
this woman.
name?
I don't
I
know
don't
who
even
this
know.
is.
Sorry,
Sorry to this woman. I don't
I
know
feel
who she
so
is.
bad. I'm like,
oh, I'm trying to diversify, y'all. It's a white lady on the screen for those who not watching.
Chelsea. Oh, okay, okay.
Chelsea
Chelsea.
Yeah,
Perez.
yeah, 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 yeah. I remember something
Okay,
like that.
Okay.
so
No, I'm
she from
I
Well,
don't
Brooklyn.
I
remember.
didn't know that. That's
I
good
don't
to
remember.
know.
Okay, now we know. Now we know. Okay, let's see if we know this person.
Oh, that's from Blind Spotting, David.
Yep, you know Rachel. You know him.
Mm-mm.
Have you seen Hamilton?
No, I
Oh, you
haven't.
haven't seen Hamilton the
I
musical?
haven't. Nope.
Girl, he is the pride and joy of Hamilton the
He plays
musical.
Sebastian in The Little Mermaid.
Oh,
Yes,
does
yes,
he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
yes. He's from Oakland, California.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just like I said, he's just the pride and joy of Hamilton. I get to see somebody from
I
I'm gonna have
Oakland.
haven't
to see
seen
it.
Hamilton, but I will see it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
I
gonna have
think
to
it's
see
it's
it.
streaming somewhere. It's on Disney streaming.
I seen clips
Okay.
of it, but I didn't see the whole thing.
Yep, yep,
I'm gonna
yep.
have to watch it. I just remember doing the play in high school.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good because
Mm-hmm.
it has the hip hop music and stuff. It's really
Oh,
mhm.
okay.
It's
I'm gonna have
really
to
good.
check it out.
It's like the Nutcracker, but hip hop. Have you seen Nutcracker downtown? I think
Mhm.
they have it at the Fox Theater.
Yes. That
Nice.
was like our yearly field trip in elementary school.
Mm.
Oh wow. I used to watch the old school Nutcracker because we didn't have cable, so I was watching. I was watching the white people on Nutcracker. No, no disrespect to white people. Y'all did a great
Of
job.
course.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, y'all did a great job.
I'm just saying. All right, so let's get into it, Rachel.
Okay.
Tell the people, give them a brief snippet about who you are, where you from. Just give us your bio.
Mm. Ooh, I'm like, where do I start? I like the title though. He said from murder dubs to motherhood. I think literally, I remember someone telling me you literally from the dubs because I was born at Highland Hospital. So I was really born next to my mom said our bed was next to a inmate who was, handcuffed to her bed. And my mom was 18 when she had me. So literally born in the dub. So yep. Born and raised Oakland, fourth generation West Oakland baby. My kids make the fifth generation. Um, yeah, born to a single mom. My dad was in and out of prison my whole life, up until like maybe a few years ago. He finally got paroled. Um, I am an only child,
Hmm.
and I am a mother of five. Yep.
Love
So,
that. What schools did you go to?
let's see. From the very beginning, St. Vincent home in West Oakland, down on 8th Street. Started there. Went to Prescott in West Oakland. And then my mom, she saw, same thing like how I do with my kids. The neighborhood and the schools was just not good. And so I mean, I remember walking home from Prescott one day, leaving with the sixth graders. Like I was in kindergarten, and I told my teacher, "I gotta go. I got a dentist appointment. My mom got to come get me from my grandma's house, and they just let me go. Well, girl,
Oh,
the older kids in the neighborhood." She was so mad, and then I was getting in fights in kindergarten. I was getting suspended in kindergarten, so my mom pulled me out kindergarten and put me in the private school in East Oakland. We moved from West Oakland to East Oakland, and I was about almost 5 years old. And so I went to St. Liz Elementary, right in the Fruitvale area, from first grade to eighth grade, and then went across the street to the high school. Yep, from ninth and 12th.
And
So,
then after that, what college did you go to? Like, yeah, just give us your help us travel with you.
okay. I'm like, this is something I remember. Okay, so after high school graduation, I went straight into SF State. Stayed there on the dorms, and I mean, around this time when I went into SF State, I was in this rebellious mode. So it was just me and my mom, but I was so sheltered, and I wanted to be out in the streets and just hang out. And I had a curfew at 9 o'clock. I mean, I was 17 years old. I had a curfew at 9 o'clock, and I was like, So when I got to the dorms, it was just like breaking free. So no curfew, even though we had curfew in our in our dorms. I still broke the curfew. Sneaking boys, the boyfriend I had at the time, sneaking him in the dorm room, hanging out with my friends. So I was just, yeah, wilding out. But I did have home training. I noticed our white counterparts had zero home training in the dorms. Like I was surprised because I was raised where, you saw our white counterparts being modest and controlled. But when I got to college, it was just like a whole different outlook. And I was like, wow, God, I didn't say wow, God, but I was like, wow, what my
Mhm.
mom instilled in me, I could see where it benefited me now. Like, I know, I would pass curfew, but I didn't go too far. I didn't experience with, uh, drugs and drinking all that. At least on the dorms. In the streets, yeah. Sideshows, yeah. But I was not the other stuff in the yeah, college apartments. But yeah, so I went to SF State. Um, I struggled maybe like my second year because I just didn't have enough self-discipline, like to get to class and get my work done. Like I said, I started hanging out in the streets, going to sideshows, um, girl scraper vans, drinking, smoking, and I ended up getting pregnant with my son. And that's where my testimony begins when I came to Christ. So, yep.
All right,
Like
cool. So,
yeah.
Avia, did you want to jump in real quick? I feel like I cut you off earlier.
I guess just like who or what made you want to go to SF State? Like, was it just free because it was close? Because you just wanted to go to a college just because?
Um, so we had our, college counselors in high school, and so there was a list. Like there were certain colleges I wanted to go to. I actually wanted to go to a
HBCU?
I did, but because my mom was like, like you gonna stay close, and
Mm.
so I was like, dang, okay. So I applied to local colleges and just got into SF State, and the day I moved into SF State, it was before the fall. So I went into their summer bridge program. And because I was so rebellious, I was not coming home for days. My mom packed up my bag. I remember hanging out that day with my cousins, and I came back and the car was parked in front of the door, like the driveway. And she was just like, girl, you got to get out of here. You got to go.
Oh, so she packed up your bag so you can go to college.
Yes, my first day was a summer bridge program, and we stayed there the whole summer. It was like like a practice for the real thing. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I was a summer bridgie. So take us back a little bit. Where when you went to college, because you said in your bio that you're a fourth generation
Mm-hmm.
Oaklander, West Oaklander, Oaklander.
Hmm.
Right.
And what does that mean? Does it mean, or I don't want to put thoughts in your head, but just tell us what do you think it means? And were you the first in that generation to do anything?
Mm. Yeah, so what it means was my great grandmother, as far as I remember, she lived in the bottoms. Like they had a house. So then it goes from my great grandmother to my grandmother. And I'm speaking on my maternal side. Um, and then my mom, me. So there's four generations of just in the same neighborhood.
Mm.
In the same neighborhood. Like I can walk down, and this happened so many times. I would take my kids to school, and literally, this guy, I remember in particular, this one man was in a garbage can, getting recycle and stuff out. And he came out the garbage can. I pushing my kids in a stroller, and he looked at me. He said, "Yo, mama named Carol." He's like, "You ain't never seen me before. You ain't never met me."
I
He said, "But I look in your face, I
would
know who
say
you."
you look just like your
He
mama.
said, "I know what family you belong to."
And
I was like,
how did
"Yeah."
that make you feel? You know, just being known without being known.
Yeah.
It was like, dang, wow. I know my family is big, and I know I look just like my mom. Um, but I started wondering, like, where did I take these people back to? Because I got this look in their face like it was just like a blast from the past. And I remember one other guy, I mean, he was sitting on the stairs, and he was like, oh my God. He was like, I know you're not her, but you look just like her. He was
Mm.
like, is your mom named Carol? I was like, yep. He was like, tears formed in his eyes. It was just like, man, he went by me being around the neighborhood, I feel like I took them back to days and memories that they probably consider as happy. Back then it probably wasn't so happy, but um yeah, times have changed. And so
What do
me
you,
being around. Mhm.
oh, go ahead.
No,
I'll
I'm
let
just
you
saying.
finish your sentence.
Oh no, I'm just saying me being around the neighborhood that my parents and grandparents and great grandparents grew up in. It was just it was humbling, honored. I felt honored, humbling, and so much like this is just family. West Oakland just one huge family. So yeah.
I was gonna ask, do you think because your family's just history on that block gained like respect from other people, or was it just like a certain reputation your mom had overall that people respected just her and whoever she was attached to?
I think people respected just who our family is.
Mm.
Um, it's a lot of us, and not just my mom's side, my dad's side too.
Mm.
Like, on my dad's side, I have a cousin. They, her dad's side of the family, also from West Oakland, owned a gambling shack back in the day before it was tore down. My grandmother, close friends with Huey Newton, like
Oh
her
wow.
her friend was his girlfriend. And just having conversations with him days before he passed away, she talks about it sometimes. My dad was his roommate, like they stayed together.
Wow.
So it's just like, Oakland is such a launching pad. And you hear about the greats that come out of Oakland, but
Yeah.
just like the human side, the down to earth side of everyone is just like they came from around the corner, they came from up the
Yeah.
street, and
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, it's
That
really
you flow right into what I was gonna ask you is in what way, how is your family connected to that deep Oakland history? And you
Mhm,
just mentioned your grandma being friends with, the Black Panthers. And
mhm, mhm,
I also saw you mention something about Tupac. Like, I just want to know,
mhm.
make all the connections right now.
I know. I feel like I'm missing a lot of parts. If I have like my auntie people here, like you didn't say this or that, but what I know, um, yeah. So my grandma was part of the launch of the free lunch program. Every summer these kids get free lunches. Black
Mm,
Panther Party is responsible for that, and she was at the infirmary at Low handing out those free lunches back in the day, and yeah, and as far as like you talk about Tupac, yeah, my cousin that was his best friend. Before he went into death row, he mentions how some of his ways have changed. Um, but I remember just being at my grandma's house and just knowing like he about to be on his way, coming over here. It wasn't like a big thing back then, it was just like somebody we know.
mm,
And
Yeah,
yeah, so
that's cool.
mhm,
Um, I remember my mom going to some. I didn't know my mom went to parties, but one year, this was a New Year's party,
mhm,
and she came home and she was on a phone. She would borrow the neighbor's phone because we didn't really have a phone. So she would borrow the neighbor's phone to call her friends. And she brought their phone on their cord into our apartment and was like, yeah, we was at Mills College. Yeah, girl. We was at Mills College. We was dancing. We only had room to put our arms up. And
wow.
and I can't remember what rapper she said was there, but
Wow.
it was I can't remember. I'm not even gonna make anything up. But it was a Oakland base. We know, I don't know if it was Too Short. I don't know, but it was
Mhm,
somebody. And when
mhm.
she said it, I was like, "You miss so so." She was like,
Wow.
"Girl, get on my conversation." I'm like, "Get off their phone." Like, you're not even on
Right.
their phone. It was just too much going on. So Rachel,
Yeah.
tell us, because you earlier you mentioned how like you were just growing up in the
Just
West.
like what
You
happened.
was just growing up, so you was doing the things that you were exposed to in your environment, and it was the way of life, right? Going to
Mhm.
the side shows, um, you know, meeting people, hanging out, skipping curfew, doing all the things.
Mhm.
Besides college, what do you feel really got a hold of you to make you go, okay, I love Oakland is where I'm from, but I want a little bit more.
mm,
Yeah, it was becoming a mom. Motherhood really changed that for me. Um, I was scared. Like, when I first got pregnant with my son Armani, he'll be 21 this year.
mm.
Whew,
Wow,
21.
congratulations.
And so my testimony actually starts with him, and that's when I started to be like, okay, I gotta stop. Like right away. I mean, cold turkey. And I wasn't even like somebody addicted to drugs, alcohol. So it was just, but I was, it was something I did that was fun. So, but right away I was like, nope, straight in school, no drinking, no smoking, no hanging out with people I don't need to be hanging out with. Um, and then went to church. So when I got pregnant, Armani, I remember telling my mom, and this is like one of those soft, traumatic spots for me coming to motherhood. But I became homeless. My mom was like, no, you can't stay here. And I
Oh,
was like, well, where am I about to go? So I ended up, couch surfing and at an auntie house. I only stayed like one night there. And then I stayed at my cousin's house for a couple of nights. And then I went into homeless shelter. And I remember just crying, like, and I can hear the cars late at night. I'm like, that's the sideshow. And I'm here pregnant in this homeless shelter with these women, these kids, and they crying. How did my life get like this, guy? And but I remember maybe like the summer before going to this church. I didn't know it was a church. and going to a play, the ghetto at Victory Outreach, and that's when I get my life to Christ. But later on, months later, is when I realized Christ was in me. And when I went to go try to get an abortion done, because I'm like, I can't live out here in these streets. I need to go back home. Let me go get this abortion so I can get back home. And when I went to the abortion clinic, it was just like something in me was what I felt was guilt. I know it's conviction now, but it was just like, no, you cannot do this. And mind you, the reason why I point that out is because I had abortion before with no remorse. It was just like, this is something I did, but this is pre Christ. So when I actually asked Christ to come into my life, when you ask him to come into your life, he's there. He's there. Holy Spirit is there. He gonna tell you right from wrong. He gonna guide you and lead you. So when I got pregnant the second time, um, and this is with Armani, I had the nurse. She was like, I had my robe on, everything, and she was doing the, I don't know, you call it sonogram. I don't know. She was just like looking. She was like, oh, she made like this face, and then I heard the heartbeat, and she was like, oh, I'm sorry, because in those places they're not supposed to do that. Let
Yeah.
you hear none of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, excuse me, can I just reschedule? And she was like so happy because I know, and I learned now a lot of those people are placed in those abortion clinics who are against abortion.
Yep.
They're placed in those clinics just for things like that.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe she was an angel, she knew what she was doing, but I definitely asked to reschedule. I made a fake appointment. And when I was in that lobby, I saw other girls in that lobby getting ready to get their abortions, and I just wanted to yell out, "Don't do it!" And I'm like, I tell them not to do it? I'm sitting here, but everything in me wanted to say, "Don't do it." Um, but yeah, and he ended up being my only boy. So
Can I go back to something you said? You said when you told your mom, she was like she didn't want anything to do with it. What was you guys' relationship like for her to just push you out to the streets like that? Because
we
when you
were.
mentioned
Mhm,
going to college, like she didn't want you to go to HBCU, but she was ready for you to leave at the same time.
mhm,
So I'm hearing a theme. So can you
mhm.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we were very close, best friends.
Oh,
Like every week was Friday night was family workout night at the YMCA. That's what we did. That was our thing. um, and and I understood now, she didn't want me to repeat what she went through.
okay.
Um,
She
and
had you at 18.
she had me at 18 going on 19. Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And so I understand it now, but back then it was just like, I need you. I needed her.
Yeah.
And I talk about that in my book, but that was like a sore spot for me. Like it took years for me, like to me to talk about it to you guys right now is miraculous for me not to cry because it took so long. Like that was a like dang, I was actually homeless. Like dang, I'm living out here on my own. A bag of chips was luxury back then. Gas was like $1 something, a gallon, and I would use every little change I had to put money in my gas tank. Bought my car with my financial aid off the streets, girl, right there by Bancroft and East Oakland, or somebody. Like I was risky, girl. Yeah. So, yeah, we was very close. So that's why it really stung.
And she just decided you got it. You could do it on your own. Like, what was her reasoning?
No, it
Like,
was like, you got pregnant, so and I'm not raising no babies. So
okay.
go figure this out. And I remember crying one night. I was at my cousin's house and I was like, God, I can't do this. Like I'm sleeping on the floor with no blanket. I'm just sleeping on the floor with a pillow and a little sheet. And
Mm.
and I was like, I can't do this. So I called my mom, was like, can you please take me back? And I'll just go schedule the abortion. So she let me come back home. And then the next day I was like, I can't do it. I'm not doing the abortion. She was like, okay, well, bye. Can't
Mm.
do it again. So and that was like around December, yeah, around this like the holiday time. And I ended up having my son in June.
And you're the only
Um,
child, so it's not like you had a sibling to call or to lean on.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So my car, people, couches was my home. And I was just so on trying to find a place. And I don't know how I was going to get a place with no money. I was relying on just financial aid to pay rent. I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. And I finally, got that place in West Oakland, right by the bar, and it was brand new. Nobody lived in that apartment before, and I remember coming out of class. I had just finished taking one of my finals, and I got the call. Was like, "You got the place," and I was like, "Oh!" I went and sold my car to my cousin for $500 for the deposit. He gave
Wow.
me. That day, I went and sold it to him. Went and got some food. Tell him to come drop me off to this place. So I could pay the deposit. I was in that thing that night. It just
Yeah.
no
Sleep.
furniture,
I was gonna say
sleeping,
sleeping on a pile of
sleeping on
clothes.
the if that, I barely had clothes because I was looking at a garbage bag of clothes and stuff was getting wet. My trunk was just, girl, it was a messed up car. It was a Chevrolet Beretta. It was old.
Wow.
Yep. So I
Yeah,
really had that, but humble beginnings. Yep. Humble beginnings.
definitely. So you mentioned that you allowed the Lord into your life and you started to get into a relationship with him. So
Mhm.
how was that going into motherhood and then leaving your old ways and then coming into that new relationship with Jesus in Oakland?
In Oakland, right? It was actually exciting because it was something new. I became part of a family. When I started going to church, I was like, because always love big families. I love families. So coming to the church I was at, Victory Outreach, it was I had gained so much support and love from people. And I'm like, oh, I need this. I've been looking for this my whole life. Like, I need this, and they genuine. They actually care about you. Um, yeah. So yeah, that was
And so you got that church support,
yeah.
your church family, and then now
Just
you're now you're
coming to
stable.
Christ.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
stable. What was it like? Where did your mom raise you up in the church? You went to a Catholic school, but were you
Mhm.
raised in the church? Like, how was that
Mhm.
shift? Now you're not just a
Yeah.
mother having to feed your child, but
Mhm.
like, what type of, I guess, mindset? Because when
Mhm.
a lot of people parent their children in different ways.
Right.
And some of us don't grow up in church, some of us do.
Right.
Some of us grow up Muslim, some of us grow up, parents hugging trees, some of us grow up parents praying to the moon and doing witchcraft on everybody. Like that's
Right.
just the motto. So
Yeah. Yeah.
how was it for you as a mother
Yeah.
having to now set a tone
Mhm.
for this is how we live?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say that I feel like I always had a relationship with God, and what's so mysterious about it is I remember talking to God as a kid, as a child. Like he was my best friend as a child. I did not grow up in church. Didn't go to church, none of that. My grandmother, my paternal grandmother, was an evangelist. I remember going to church with her maybe a couple times whenever I visit that family. But for the most part, I didn't grow up. I didn't know the word of God at all. Um, and I remember telling my mom about that. Like, I remember just talking to God at like 4 years old, 5 years old. I would be in my room just talking to him.
Mm.
And she was like, when she was pregnant with me, that's all she did was talk to God. That's all she did. And my mom has a similar story when she was pregnant with me. So my mom was raising all her siblings. She's the second oldest out of eight on her mom's side and the oldest out of five girls on her dad's side. So she was 18 and she was also put out, and she stayed in a hotel and she's always said she was just always crying and just talking to God, talking to God. So I don't know if that transferred in utero, like me coming out and just talking to God, knowing that Holy God was just there. But as I gave my life to Christ, I feel like God showed me a new version of Himself. Because I feel like I knew Him already, but I feel like He's showing a new version of Himself. I'm like, God, this is you. This you. Like I've been talking to you my whole life. I didn't know you. Got other names. I didn't know that you did these things. Like, and then going to Catholic school, we learned the Bible stories, but we didn't learn revelation. We didn't learn like how to connect that to our personal life. We just learned that this is what Jesus did. That was it. it wasn't connected to like how this impacts you, how it, so yeah, I loved it. I was just like, oh God, you are awesome. Like I just love him so much. That was my best friend to this day.
Amen.
Uh,
Amen.
do you incorporate just God in your family with your kids, and like how do you introduce God to your children if you do?
Oh well, they was born into the ministry. Like I said, my son was my testimony of being on the abortion table, literally, and getting up, um, and going from there. And in that church, I didn't kept having kids in church. They was literally born in ministry, um, and so it's just in them. And I'm grateful. I'm like, man. And this is somebody asked my mom when I was growing up, "Can I go to church? Can we go to church? Can we go to church?" And
Mm,
she's like, "Oh, okay. We go. We go on Easter, somebody church, or we go on Christmas, somebody else church."
mm.
Uh,
Yeah,
I
the
remember going
holiday
to
Christians.
holiday. Yeah, I remember going to like church twice with her my whole life.
Mm,
Like up into, so it wasn't nothing that I grew up in. I just had a desire and a thirst for God out of nowhere. Um, and I would like before I even give my life to Christ, I would every Sunday I would get my notebook as a teenager and listen to Joel Osteen and take notes.
Everybody was listening to Joe Osteen at one point.
oh
I
boy,
was. I'm
And
not
I,
gonna lie.
never listened to him. I never listened to him.
oh my
Don't
God,
do it. Don't
Great.
even do it.
I would just be there taking notes, and I'll just be reading my notes and reading it to my mom, and I'll be like, "Girl, I thought I was onto something in life." I was like, "Oh,"
Joe
but
Osteen was preaching though. He was preaching his
he
little
was.
message. He was
I
preaching.
used him. He used
Yeah,
him along my journey.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's
Those
the
things.
important part.
Mhm.
Okay, so what was life like, because you still living in West Oakland. You
Mhm.
still living in West Oakland. So how did that inform your prayer life? How did it inform how you showed up as a Christian in
Yeah.
your community where all hell was breaking loose, where people living godless lives,
Yeah.
evil was going on? How did you show up as a Christian woman and a Christian mother?
Yeah. That was tough. It's like swimming upstream. Um, One thing I should say, because our apartment was 325, the last apartment we stayed in. So when I moved to that place, I stayed in a 1 bedroom. I kept having kids. So I moved from 1 bedroom to a 2 bedroom, 325. Then I moved to the three bedroom, 309. They told me we ain't got no more bedrooms. You keep having these kids. So I was like, okay, okay, okay. I said, no, y'all, yes, y'all do, but I know y'all gave it to the Arabs, but it's cool. So I was like, because y'all
What?
lying. I
Not
know
them
y'all
having
got
a
it for real.
penthouse in the
Yes,
hood.
I know y'all got it. So, but yeah, it just takes a lot of focus and discipline. Like I said, going to church was my family. So I was in church all the time with the kids. It was, Thursday night intercession, Wednesday Bible study, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Tuesday youth. It was just like every day I was doing something. So that kept me, I guess, separated and focused and mentally, emotionally, spiritually strong. Um, but it also gave me a thirst for my neighborhood to go back and actually do something about what's going on around me. Um, we would come home getting out the car when we parked in our garage, going through the lobby, and every day, there's this guy who, know my grew up in my family, but he had his drugs just out on the stairs, and he'd be like, "Hey, y'all, good evening, good morning." It was just like, dang God.
You're like, oh, I'm eating breakfast. I'm
Yes,
eating
bro, he had
breakfast.
everything out, like just stuff just out, and so yeah, it just took a lot of mental, emotional, spiritual discipline. Um,
I want to know when you had said earlier you were in the streets and you were just enjoying yourself because you had more freedom.
mhm.
When you turned over a new leaf and went to Christ, did you bump into like old friends, like folks who you rode in the streets with, and try to get them to come to church, or did they try to get you to come back to the streets to the side shows?
Well, the thing is, the people I was in the sideshow was my cousins. We all
Oh,
got saved at the same time.
okay.
So we all went to church. So
That's
it wasn't, yeah. I mean, it was people in their old neighborhood where I used to hang out with them that was still, doing what they doing. But we was like, you need to come to church. You need to come to this place. You
mm,
need to. So it's nothing that I missed at all.
that's
Mm-mm.
good. Good.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I wanted to just share the screen really quick because Rachel mentioned her book.
Oh yes, I was gonna ask that later. Well, towards the end.
And boom, boom, boom. Okay,
Raising
so
mama.
tell us,
Well,
give us. Don't worry about all the stuff in my card. Mind y'all business. Don't worry
I
about
don't
it.
see nothing in there. Oh, 11 things. Dang, girl.
Don't worry about it. Get out my business.
You better than me, girl. Almost at 100. I'm like, this
But
is
you know
big
what it
stuff.
is? It's those groceries. It's those groceries.
Oh, that's good. Keep it on
That
rotation.
yeah. Okay, tell us about
Love the
raising mama.
cover.
Raising mama. Yeah, so that term was clearly birthed out of my prayer closet. So, like I said, going to church, we had Bible study at our house, and we would go to the streets and go door to door. And I remember all these kids opening up the door, especially in the high risers, city towers, and no parents were home. And these were like 4 year olds, 5 year olds, 8 year olds having, no shirt on, nose running, got a cup of noodles in their hand. And it's like 7 o'clock. I'm like, where's your mama at? Close the
Mhm.
door. Don't open this door. If your mama ain't here, they're like, oh, she at the store. Or she and I'm like, oh my God. And I remember just like having this burden. Like I remember going home crying because it was just like so many. That happened so many times. And I
Mhm.
remember just crying, and not just from door to door, but because my kids went to Martin Luther King up the street. I would see kids come to school just to eat, or see kids come to school just already off the hook at 7:45 in the morning. School ain't even started. How is you already getting to a fight with somebody? So it's just like, God, what is going on?
Mhm.
And I remember just going into my prayer closet crying. I'm like, how can I help these kids, God? How can I save these kids? Um, they need a mom like me. How can I take them all in?
Mhm.
and uh and then Lord showed me, you need to reach the parents. The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. So you need to raise the laborers. You need to invest, deposit yourself without putting you into
Yeah.
them. You need to
Yeah.
multiply yourself. So that's how you're gonna get to the kids, is you're gonna get to the parents who can help their kids. And that's actually what got me into the work I'm doing now too. But raising mom, and I remember telling God, like, the way I've seen, and no disrespect to anybody in my family, but the way I've seen mothers raise their children, I'm like, I don't want to raise my kids that way.
Mm.
So God, I don't have a blueprint of how to do this thing, how to do marriage, how to do motherhood. I need you to show me. I need you to raise me. So that's where raising mama came
Mhm.
from.
Yeah, I remember this season in Rachel's life
Yeah.
where she did have that burden.
Hmm.
And Rachel was doing so many things. She being real humble right now. But she was using the community center in
Hmm.
her complex.
Yeah.
She was doing decorating parties,
Hmm.
impacting people through that, building
Hmm.
relationships with people through the parties that she was doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, doing events for the kids, for the moms, celebrating the
Mhm.
moms. Like I
Mhm.
just remember her being in this season of just constantly pouring
Yeah.
into people, pouring into mothers, pouring into their children.
Yeah.
Her kids were an example to other kids. She
Yeah.
didn't have baby kids. Her
Right.
kids constantly set a tone and
Girl, miraculously.
yes, so like, and her kids would come in the house like, mama, we need to pray. We need to pray for so and so. We need
Yeah.
to whoa, 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 whoa. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember Rachel gearing her kids up. Come on, y'all, we about to
Hmm.
pray for whoop
Yep.
de whoop de whoop.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Like
Yep.
her kids seeing people get shot, having to run to
Yes.
somebody else's apartment, like,
Yes.
and then
And that was
coming.
normal.
Yes, yes, but
That was
one
normal.
thing, just looking, because I was living in Albany, right? I was going to college, living in the little community, the little family place over there,
Yeah.
and so I was 10 minutes away.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was not experiencing that.
Right.
And when I would go to church, we were going to the same church. I was driving through that, and then I was
Yes.
able to go back to my house and not
Yeah.
have to be in that environment. And
Yes.
so I was like living these things vicariously
Right.
through Rachel, but you had such a resilience in
Right.
the shell, and you
Yeah.
weren't like her. The shell that her and her family had was not an unhealthy shell. It
Yeah.
was like we in the world, we not of the world. It's
Yes.
not
Yeah.
affecting us.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can go on and on and on and on, but I'm harping on it because
Hmm.
I want to just, I guess, prove that
Hmm.
when you come to the Lord or go to church, it's
Hmm.
more than just going to church.
Yeah.
God has now given you authority. So now
That's
you have
right.
authority
That's
of
right.
where you live. You have
That's right.
authority. You
Come
can
on.
say, no, this is not gonna come to my door.
Right.
This is where I draw the line.
Yeah.
Anything is outside of 309 is outside of
That's right.
309. Like
That's
I
yes.
I remember you living that life
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
always having a testimony.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always having a testimony, like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, they were shooting something, something, but we had
Yes.
just got in the house.
Yes.
And like it was
Yes.
always close
It was
calls.
so close. And it got closer and closer. And I remember having this thought like maybe I should move.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was just the rent was so cheap, right? And then I remember hearing somebody say, when you have a family, you are obligated to make sure your children are in an environment where they can grow, they can be creative, they need grass, they need this and that. So I started feeling like, oh shoot, my bad, God. Like I'm here trying to save $1 and we ducking bullets every day. But also I felt like I needed to, it was another part of that too. Like this savior complex, like I said, my family lived generations of West Oakland. So I still had uncles who lived in the area. And they
Mm-hmm.
would come to my house for food, for showers, so I'm like, oh, they need me out here. They need me. They need me. And so that was part of why I stayed. But God started taking the feathers out the nest. And as the years went on, I was getting poked more and more. It was coming closer and closer and closer. It wasn't just like, oh, we just got in a house and they shooting. It was also like the last straw, we actually witnessed a homicide. I was behind the shooter. So it was just like,
Mm.
okay, all
Wow.
right, Lord, the bloody shirt in front of my door. My kids thought it was just a fight. So they looking in the window. They know not to look in that window. But they was looking in the window and the fight broke out into, a homicide. So I was like, oh
Yeah,
dang, all right. So that's it. Sin literally was crouching at my door. I'm like,
right,
Jesus, I gotta
right.
go. So
Yeah,
from that day forward, I was just on looking for a place. And I was like, you know what, Lord, they can have this Section 8. I would work 10 jobs to get us to where we supposed to be. And when I gave it up, that's when, and it wasn't just Section 8. It was even at this time, I was going through a toxic marriage. Like my ex-husband was on drugs and, he was working, but drugs, alcohol, uh, I went through all that. It was, I didn't realize it was domestic violence until I actually got out of it. I was like, oh, that was not okay.
yeah,
That was not okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah. And sorry, my husband is like, did you cook?
You
Sorry.
said that you only have one son,
Yeah,
so
he's my
you have
older.
four daughters.
I have 4 girls underneath
How
him.
how is it navigating being that you were the only child, sibling,
Yeah,
or the only child girl?
yeah,
You have four
right.
daughters. How's
Yes,
that?
I love it because I always love big families. Like I used to admire big families growing up,
Mm-hmm.
seeing friends with they big families, or even watching these big families on TV, Full
Mm-hmm.
House, Family Matters, seeing these TV shows like I want one. That's actually like, can I have a sibling? No. Um, So I loved it. And one thing the devil tried to hit me with was my motherhood because I became super depressed. To the point Shanita remember I used to have anxiety attacks like every day. I was called 911 every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the Lord speaking to me one day. I was in the emergency room on the bed and it was drawing blood. And he said, this is not a flesh and blood. And from that day, I just used my righteous anger. And my attitude that I have in the world, I use that towards the devil. And I was like, no. So when that thing was trying to rise up, I breathe through it and keep moving on. I will be cleaning up or do something to distract myself. But I got
Yeah.
stronger and stronger and stronger until that thing just disappeared.
Mhm.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit more about what that transformation was like? Because and sorry if I'm like if I'm leading,
No,
but
no.
but um Rachel was sorry, hold on, pause real quick. My husband like he was gonna do Wingstop. No, I just reported them for not cleaning the feathers out.
They just built
So
the wing stuck the street.
yeah, like it's feather swap. It's the wing for real at this point.
Ah,
It's the
it's the
feathers too. So anyway, sorry, I'm gonna cut that out. So so can you tell us about what that transformation was? What do you think? And you don't have to get deep into it, but
hmm
where was that anxiety coming from?
Mhm.
And because now looking back at it,
hmm
since you mentioned it,
Yeah.
I think you had every right, right,
Yes.
to be anxious, right?
Yes.
You had every right.
Yes.
You raising
Yes.
your kids, you were
Yes.
in this tough marriage, you
Yeah.
living in all of the war zone, Wild
Yeah.
Wild West. You
Right.
living in
Right.
Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
You were working.
Yeah.
You were also taking some. You were trying to finish courses at San
Yeah.
Francisco State.
Yeah.
You was working for the Tribune, was it? The
Yep.
Tribune.
hmm
Like you was out here doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, I'm like, she had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And when you would like, be like, yeah, I just got the hospital, or you like, I'm in the hospital, pray for me. I
Yeah.
was kinda like, "Okay, I think she need a break." Like,
Right.
she call
Yes.
911 because she need a break.
There
Mhm.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And it's a trip because it's a trip you mentioned 911. I was thinking about this yesterday. For so many years, God kept showing me 911. It was always the time on the clock 911, 911,
Mhm.
911. I was like, why is it always 911, Lord? So 911. And he showed me years later because you in an emergency, emergency situation. But I was ignoring it or watering it down or making it to where, oh, this ain't nothing. 'Cause that's the only way I could survive this thing was just to make it as if this ain't nothing. But the anxiety, a lot of anxiety, it came from different places. So number one, it was spiritual because I remember talking to one of the ambulance guys and he was like, this is our number one call in this area is anxiety attacks, panic attacks. And I was like, oh, thank you for letting me know the spirit that's over here.
I was about to say, "You the number one caller." Like,
Yes. And girl, they knew me by name, first
yeah,
name.
they knew you.
I remember cause the firemen, they come first when you call 911. The fire department come first. And I remember the guy walking in the house. He was like, "Rachel, what's wrong now?"
See, and that's when it is getting crazy.
I was like, "Okay, not knowing me by first name, sir. Not even know your name, no." But yeah, so anxiety came spiritually, right? And then my mom mentioned that she used to have anxiety attacks. So when she was younger, so that stuff went into, my
Mhm.
bloodline. And then thirdly, I was in an abusive relationship. A lot of anxiety and comes from trauma, and anxiety is just an extension of depression.
Mhm.
Um, so I was depressed. I was
Wow.
severely depressed. But I was still getting up, going to church, you know, doing a newsletter for the church, doing what I need to do for church. My priorities was out of order, even though it looked like I was doing all the right things. My priorities out of order. I would be at church all day and then get home and like, dang, I didn't. What we gonna eat? I have to throw some nuggets together. And I remember one of the women at church was like, no, you got to stop. Your home is first. You got to
Yeah.
take care of home first.
Yeah.
So
Was
Yeah.
there ever a time like one of your daughters came to you and like told you like, okay, mom, slow down, please?
no, because they was so young.
Mm.
They were little. By the time I decided to reprioritize, they were still young. So it wasn't. They just went with the flow. You
Mm.
know, they just went with the flow. but it was other women, other moms who saw that. It was like, they would whisper it because these were women leaders in the
Yeah,
church. Was like, hey, this is not okay. Even though you working for no, take care of your kids. And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's important and that's priority. So,
yeah.
what are you doing now? Let's wrap it up. What are you doing now? How are you still making moves in Oakland and for, families, and what are you doing now?
Now I am a marriage and family therapist. I'm a family
wow,
clinician. Yes. Even moving through West Oakland, I was able to graduate and get my BA journalism. And a lot of my writings was in community based work, social work. So I was like, maybe need to move into this field.
that's
And
good.
so, yeah. Yep. So I'm working on collecting my hours so I can become licensed and have my
Mhm,
own private practice from
mhm.
home.
You can do
Um,
it. You can do
Thank
it.
you.
Promise
I'm
you.
pushing.
You
I'm
got
just like,
God.
oh
I
God.
can do it. Do it.
Once I get licensed, I gotta go back one more time because I want to be called Dr. Rachel. I'm like, I'm gonna go get my doctorate.
Do it. Do it. Do it. We need more black women
Yes.
doctors. Look,
Yes.
Yes.
do it.
So that's a career
Yeah, so
goal.
you can diagnose them. Okay, y'all, this funny story. I don't know if Rachel remember, but she had reached out to me one time. Now she's in her doing all her clinical studies, and she's got her, she's educated, and she called me one day. She's like, sis, pray for me. I don't know. I feel like anxiety trying to
Mhm.
creep back up. And I was like, okay. I said, are you thirsty? Are you
Mhm.
hungry?
Yes.
Are you tired? I was like, first check in with yourself. And she was like, girl, I ain't drink water in like
Oh,
2 days. I was like, Rachel, you a therapist. She was like, girl, I've been studying, I've been working, I ain't drink no water.
all day.
Yes.
And I still gotta be like I got my cup right here. Every day I go up to the gas
Look,
station and get this whole
look.
big cup. Yeah. Keep it on my nightstand. And I remember I have to set alarms. Drink water, drink water,
Yes.
eat something.
But
Cause
but I didn't have nothing like, from the heavens for her. It was
right,
just
right,
it was just, did you drink water? And she's
right.
like, I
What?
drink water. But she's like, sis, pray for me, pray, pray, pray. And I'm like, I think you thirsty. I think you hungry.
You need a nap. You just need a nap.
Yes. Thank you. And I just learned in the last few years that rest is our birthright. God rested. Resting is worship to God. So when I started learning to put myself first, I said my first um biggest act of self-care was when I got that divorce, because the Bible says what God has put together, let no man tear apart. God didn't put that marriage together, I did. So it wasn't even built on the right things. And when I finally broke apart from that, life started happening. My daughter got her first audition. She booked it in the movie, and it
Oh
was like,
wow.
oh God! And I mean, like months after leaving their dad, and just things started happening. I got signed as a model to the girls agency, so we all got contracts now.
Amen.
It just,
Keep it in the family.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Mm.
on top of being a therapist, we working as a little acting and model career on the side. I want to revise raising mama, because I feel like I've grown spiritually. Some things I learned that I want to add to the book, and then yeah, start our LLC, raising families. So we launching a caregivers group, mothers and fathers, next month.
Mm.
And that's gonna be going for 12 weeks. And we use the analogy of a house, rebuilding your house. So we
Mhm.
start from the blueprint to the foundation, to the framework. Everything has a meaning to it. So
Nice.
yeah.
I couldn't
Wow.
find I couldn't find a picture of I had to sign in to Instagram and everything, but I was trying to find the flyer. So go
Oh, you can
ahead
send it
and
to you.
um what I can do is on the video, I can add the picture of the
Okay.
flyer. So go ahead
Okay.
and give us the spiel of what's coming up, how people sign up, and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. So raising families is relaunch as of this year. So raising the mothers caregiver group starts April 25th. It's going to be on Zoom. And then same day for the fathers. That's going to be headed by my co-laborer. He's going to head the fathers group. I head the mothers group. This will be 12 weeks. And yeah, so you can email info@raisingfamilies.net to get to sign up. So
Okay, cool.
yeah.
All right. So,
Thanks for joining us.
yeah,
Thank
thanks
you
for
for
joining
having
us.
me.
Thanks a lot.
This
You're
was
into
This
good.
was fun. Good conversation. I'm
Yeah.
like, I know
Now,
there's so much more I could explain, but
I was just gonna say, I feel like look, Dr. Rachel is another part two.
yes,
Definitely, she is a part
yeah,
two. She did a great
yes.
job because she's a writer, so she did a great job with like giving us snippets and things like that. But it's more to the story, y'all.
it's
Yes.
even more reason to go buy her book.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Yes.
yes. It is definitely more reason. So,
Yeah.
what do you want to leave the people with, Rachel, when they think about Oakland and the testimonies and the stories that it holds? Like, what is one positive thing that you want people to know about Oakland?
Um, Oakland has Oakland is special, right? So Oakland is just like when I moved from Oakland, I had this guilt, but I wasn't abandoned in Oakland. I was just
Uh-huh.
honored where I came. I'm honored where I came from.
Yeah.
I'm still an Oakland girl, okay? But I want to be able to push my kids and the next generation forward. And what didn't happen for me, it didn't happen for me. So Oakland is weighty, full of talent. And I want to acknowledge that, we have so many greats that do come out of Oakland, but we moving forward. We launching. It's a launching pad, like I said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. All right, everybody. Well, that was our episode, Oakland Girl Live with Rachel Simmons. And again, y'all look out for Rachel. Go purchase her book, Raising Mama, and then come back
Yeah.
to get the revised version
Yes.
of Raising Mama. And then also, where can they follow you on socials?
Rachel Simmons on Instagram and both on TikTok. Uh, I need to update my TikTok. My kids are supposed to be helping with that. They the tech gurus. But yeah, thank y'all so much. And like I said, love Oakland. Oakland taught me how to survive, but healing taught me how to build a legacy. So even though I'm a West Oakland girl, I'll turn survival into generational healing. So that's what I'm
Amen.
focusing
Amen. All right, y'all.
on.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.